Ford shocks the entire automotive industry with some big news: affordability, and they're going to address it. In the last 4 years, Ford's been trying to sell jacked up high trim level vehicles, but they're not alone. Many manufacturers have been trying to sell trim levels that are pushing customers into spaces that they can't afford. But the worst part is banks have been enabling this and allowing 84, 96-month loans to get people into these very expensive vehicles. Inventory is starting to rise on lots again, and we're seeing a whole row of F-150s here parked along this row. But there's a secret, and Ford's addressing an issue, and the word is affordability. With the latest industry average vehicle sale price going up to about $47,000, $48,000, it's no surprise when we look at these very large trucks that have driven prices up on a lot of these modern day vehicles. Right here we have a Super Duty. This is an F350 Platinum, 6.7 liter Power Stroke. Gorgeous truck. But I mean, as always, you've got lots of features on there, lots of options every which way. And you've also got a price tag of $129,945. Out the door, you're $135,000, $140 grand. May even have to apply some of the luxury tax. If you're in Canada and some other places, you might have to add state taxes, provincial taxes, GST, PST. This could be close to 150 grand by the time you put a little PPF on there and put some extras on this vehicle. It could cost you a significant amount of money. And even brand new F-150s with a decent level of trim. We have obviously the newer decals on the front. This one here, obviously lots of nice black piano finishing, F-150 Lariat. It's a gorgeous truck. I love the color of it. It's going sort of for that Nardo gray that we saw in Audis, the Lamborghinis. I love the look. I mean, look at that black decal. I love what Ford's doing with that design, LEDs. Of course, you get that big dual exhaust tips there, FX4 off-road, and naturally you get the black polished wheels and a step guard. This is clearly a higher level trim vehicle, and Ford's been charging, we've seen these vehicles lately in Canadian market, $85,000, $90,000, $95,000 for a Lariat trim level with leather interior. Of course, you get the sunroof in some trims, and naturally it's just a pricey truck. Part of the higher prices of a lot of vehicles now is to compensate for a lot of the research and development of the manufacturing of electric vehicles. Ford's one of those, for example, that loses tens of thousands of dollars on the sale of every one of these EVs. But as it is, they have to charge more on their Blue Oval products. Yes, their F-150s and beyond, their F-Series trucks and some of their smaller vehicles, the small SUVs like the Escapes and the Mavericks, are helping to pay to manufacture some of these vehicles. Another unfortunate spin-off to these high vehicle prices is repossessions, and repossessions are up grossly. Tow truck drivers to get these vehicles towed back into the auctions where they can resell them. Repossessions are escalating at an alarming rate, and that's even with the bank allowing these longer loan terms, which isn't helping anybody, because a lot of people getting into an 84-month loan term find themselves underwater with a negative equity immediately because they're stretching it out so far. The value of the vehicle drops off quick enough, and all they're left with is a vehicle that's worth less than their trade-in value almost at any given point, unless they keep the vehicle for 8 to 10 years, at which point, and that point only, are they finally leveled off and equal, let alone these high truck prices. Sure, some people get into it and they actually have a well-paying job. They get into it, they have that job that they think is going to be there for the next 20 years, and then lo and behold, with the changes, the things going on like AI, of course, major government restructuring of a lot of federal corporate jobs, a lot of federal jobs, a lot of public jobs are all going bye-bye, and the workplace is a very volatile environment right now, and sadly this is putting people at a very high risk of losing their jobs, and many are. And when they lose their jobs, car loan that they just signed up for 6 months ago and the house mortgage that they signed up for 2.5 years ago are all at a huge risk. How do we get out of this conundrum where a lot of these vehicles with lower prices gives people an opportunity to actually afford them? So there's many OEMs that are looking at solutions. Mini's coming out with a more affordable vehicle, $30,000 for example. Mitsubishi is getting in on the wagon too, and realizing that a lot of people want something that shows a little bit of value and you can get for under 30 grand. Ram also is saying that they will have something very affordable very, very soon, so you might be able to get into an affordable truck. We heard possibly some ramblings about something that might have the Dakota badge on it. We'll see. But Ford specifically has been addressing the affordability crisis related to trucks for some time now. And we're seeing vehicles like this. With the Maverick has been that vehicle that a lot of people have gone to. It's become very popular. Although that being said, it's not always the cheapest. I mean, if you want to step up to a Maverick that has all the cool badging, this one here's a Tremor. As you'll notice, you've got the special decals there. And of course, inside you have leather seats with the Tremor text on it as well. You get sunroof, leather, beautiful. This is a great looking little unit. You get some off-road tires and a tiny little slider. I'm not sure how good that is, but this one is not cheap. You start stepping into the Tremor, the XLTs, the Lariats, they start to get a little pricey, but there are some affordable versions. And if you want affordable, this is not where you go. I mean, the full-size Bronco is going to cost you a significant amount of money, and that unfortunately has a lot of buyers frustrated. Vehicles like that, because that's all you were able to find was expensive F-150s, as well as some of these other higher trim level vehicles. But right here is one of those vehicles, an example that a lot of people were buying because they could afford it. This was in the $24,000 range. US dollars is a little Maverick. You get the steel wheels, plastic handles, but this one here is a Maverick XL, as you'll notice right there, and this one goes for a whopping $39,800 in Canadian dollars. But with the XL, of course, in US funds, this was more mid-20s to high 20s, and therein lies an affordable truck for a lot of buyers. Because ultimately people are asking, we need a $30,000 vehicle. We don't want $80,000, $90,000. We want $30,000, $25,000, $31,000. We need affordable vehicles. Nobody's asking for these extremely expensive, large, full-size trucks. I've seen these here for quite some time. And while they're beautiful, I mean, when you're talking about a truck that could cost you up in the north of 180, 185 in Canadian funds, it really begs the question, who can afford this and who's actually buying it? Rather, more people are also avoiding vehicles like the Ford Lightning because it's EV, has limited range, and so these have been even heavily incentivized because nobody's really interested in buying those big jacked up diesels, F-150 Lightnings, and sure, there's the odd person buying, but there's a lot more people buying these days, and sales have gone up. Sales popularities of these Mustang Mach-E's are very, very low and poor. They're very difficult to sell. They usually need heavy incentives. And I've seen some of these still early models. I've seen 22 model years of the Mustang Mach-E still sitting around on lots, brand new with plastic on the seats, but they were not selling. Some dealers were a little overzealous, charging us extreme amount of money, and were not willing to negotiate. Hence, they're still sitting on them because sticker price is not what people want to pay for vehicles like that. Rather, they are looking for a deal. So sub $30,000 vehicles is exactly what people are looking for. And most people are not necessarily looking for a battery electric vehicle that costs $70,000, $80,000, $85,000. It's a lot of money. It's a lot to bite off. And certainly when you have to be tethered up to your house or a pole, it just makes it that much more undesirable. So people are looking for a break. And even though you might save a little money on fuel costs, you certainly will pay back on the front end costs of buying these vehicles. And price point vehicles like the Nissan Sentra went up 40% in sales in 2024, a sheer indication that people are looking for lower cost vehicles. Outlander Sport, another great option for people looking to get into an affordable SUV by Mitsubishi. There's a few options, and more manufacturers are catching on to the fact that people are looking for an affordable option. That's why Ford still hangs on for now to dear life for their Ford Escapes. Now, granted, they've got some troubles, of course, some recalls related to their 1.5s, of course, battery issues as well. And we're hearing battery issues and recalls related to the Bronco Sports as well. But these are popular, especially when you get them in base trim. People are enjoying the fact that you can get a low trim level vehicle that doesn't cost an arm and three legs. And then BMW Mini's talking about bringing back the Oxford edition, which they canceled up in 2022, as it's a lower stripped out hatchback version. And ideally, the hopes are to get buyers back into the brand. As we know, Mini has struggled, and they're some of the heavily incentivized vehicles right now because they're not selling. Prices are high, it's associated with BMW, and people just not interested. Honda Odyssey, minivan, yes, Honda. They're looking at dropping the sticker price as much as almost $3,700 for 2025, clearly trying to motivate people to get back in the door. And almost every manufacturer, including Ford, is recognizing that buyers are simply looking for price-effective vehicles. $30,000 mark is definitely where people want to go. And Ford's really trying to reach out because now they're introducing this Ford STX as the second cheapest or second most affordable F-150 full-size pickup truck in their arsenal. Sure, you can get the XL, but XL is stripped out, has metal wheels, and it's extremely bare bones. But right here we have an STX, a very handsome looking truck, and it represents great value because the XL is at $38,000 in US prices, MSRP base price, but the STX like this, stickers at $42,000 and up. And what do you get? You get a better grille. This certainly looks more attractive than the XL. You get nice headlights, some nice detailing there. But instead of the steel wheels, look, you get alloys, metal wheels. And this was an F-150 STX. I'll just show you right there. Sure, you get a fair amount of plastic all over the place, but they've got to cut corners somewhere. It's certainly a price point F-150. As you'll notice, there's no slider on the back, but they are giving you a spray-in liner, which is nice. So it saves you $1,000 right there. And of course, on the inside, we look in there and we have beautiful patterns on the seats. They actually have some yellow stitching on there. Absolutely good looking unit. You do get a decent sized center section in there and a very attractive looking unit with the split in the front and 3 full seats in the back. It does give you some nice host of options and features. So you don't have to feel like you're walking around in steel wheels in a very base bone truck that looks like a work truck. Rather, you actually get into something that feels like a nice vehicle. The STX is certainly what Ford's trying to bring people into the brand. It offers up some great amenities without going all in, and also without feeling like you're driving a work truck. Every manufacturer right now, including Ford, seems to be leading the way in selling something that's hopefully under 30 grand, because many of the Mavericks are, and some of these other vehicles are getting mighty close. You can get a base F-150 for almost about $38,000 and go up to about 42K. And even Ram's talking about a 1500 coming out very, very shortly. That's going to be affordable as well. So they're all going to compete. And what this means is these brands are all driving themselves and forcing this competition, this competitive nature. We're going to see more manufacturers fighting for a shrinking market share. GM, Ford, and Ram. And we're going to talk about this. And you're definitely going to want to follow the channel as we go on and the market continues on this year. 2025 promises to be a major shakedown in the industry. We're going to see big incentives, big knockdowns on sticker price for everything. As a matter, if you're looking for a Honda or Toyota, we're already seeing incentives there, especially with the Tundras not selling and their quality challenges. But the Fords, the GMs, the Rams are all going to be competing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and look for that sub $30,000 range, because there's going to be more of those vehicles available. What an absolute gorgeous car, this beautiful Mustang right here. So if you want to check out my other channel, 6-Speed Reviews, I do a full-on review, nitty-gritty style. You're going to want to check it out, and please do be sure while you're over there to subscribe to the channel, trying to build a following. And certainly I'm going to bring you the best and the most gritty version of a car review. You're going to love it. Be sure to binge watch, and I hope to see you on the other side. Please do drop a line. See you all real soon. Bye-bye.